Hi everyone, this is Rion Paper. Welcome to the second Inkvent or ink calendar, advent calendar tier list of the year. Last week I did a sort of analog tier list for the 2025 color event, and this time I have the Diamine Inkvent. So I've made cards for all 25 inks where I've swatched the ink. And I just wanted to do this little exercise, both because I think it's fun to share because everyone's opinions will be different. But it's also like a good sort of evaluation to see whether or not the Inkvent was worth it ink-wise. If there's a lot of inks that I like that I'm going to use, or if there's maybe like some more inks that I don't like. I really loved last year's Inkvent calendar. I think there were a lot of very useful, very pretty inks. Initial thoughts this year were that I think I had more inks in the Colorverse calendar that I liked. I've written the numbers here of how many inks were in each category in the Colorverse calendar. So I'm curious to see how the Diamine is going to measure up. Diamine has 25 inks, Colorverse had 24. So that's just like a little difference. Diamine definitely had a lot more like crazy inks, like interesting properties. There's scented inks, pigmented inks, chameleon shimmers, all kinds of inks that Colorverse doesn't have in the Colorvent calendar. So yeah, let's just dive into this. There's no order in these cards. I kind of shuffled them when I took a picture for the thumbnail. So yeah, just gonna go through them and we'll see what we come across. The categories, very quickly, love it, are my absolute favorites. The ones that, like in case of Diamine, I would consider getting a full bottle of. For Colorverse, obviously, we don't have that opportunity for every ink. Nice and or unique are inks that either I really like them, but I feel like there are quite a few dupes or alternatives for them, so they are not really unique, or I think they are really unique and they really bring something new to the table, but I don't particularly love them. Then there's usable, which are inks that I would consider putting in a pen, or like they would be just good to write with, but I don't really care for them. And then meh are the inks that I kind of rather had, I would have preferred that they weren't included. And of course, disclaimer, just my opinion, all in good fun. If I put some of your favorites in the meh category, just all the more power to you that you love them. It's just a little exercise. So the first one is Mer the Merrier, which is a shimmer and sheening ink. So the base is this sort of dark teal color. The sheen is a fairly bright red, or like pinkish red. And then we have a sort of darker blue shimmer that looks almost purple actually in this light. I think it's cool. I don't love the combination actually of these three colors together. I think this shimmer color kind of clashes with the base color of the ink a little bit. So for me, it's usable. Diamine shimmers are usually very well behaved, but I don't love it actually. So it's definitely going in the usable category. Then we have Bubbly, and I've heard lots of various opinions on Bubbly. Personally, I really like this ink. I think it looks like basically like liquid champagne. It has a beautiful champagne gold shimmer, lovely base color. Yeah, I was really happy when I first opened the door for this ink. So definitely one of my favorites for the calendar. Then we have Mittens. Mittens is a pink pigment ink, and I'll just say now that, but I don't really care for pigment inks. I don't really need the advantages that they have, the fact that they are waterproof. So for me, it's just like unnecessary extra maintenance and a little bit more fear of like staining or an ink being hard to clean from a pen or a converter. So it's kind of like I always deduct a few points for it being a pigment ink. And this is also a color that I just really don't like. I don't like bright pinks. So for me, this was a definite meh. Then we have Energy. Energy is a very pretty, dark, cool purple with quite a bit of sheen. Not the biggest fan of the sheen, but I do like the base color. So kind of, I'm gonna put it in usable. I was considering nice or unique, but I think there are just too many colors like this. So then the next one is Antler. Antler is another pigment ink, which I'm a little sad about because I really like this base color. I think it's gorgeous. So I'm gonna put this in nice and or unique, even though it's a pigment, because I just really like it. I think Antler is a great name. It definitely looks like these like soft, velvety color of antlers. Really quite pretty. I think this could have been a favorite if it weren't a pigment ink. And then we have Overcast. Overcast is a chameleon ink. A chromo shading ink. And that is something that we don't see all that often with Diamine. There are some brands that are more known for their chromo shaders. Troublemaker, Vinta, Sailor, Robert Oster even. So quite a few brands, but not necessarily Diamine. So I am quite excited that this one was included in the calendar. And I also quite like the color. It's not a favorite, but it's definitely one of the better inks, in my opinion. Then we have Ambience, and Ambience is a very shimmery coral ink. I think it's a chameleon shimmer. I'm not 100% sure right now, but I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about this one. It's grown on me. When I first swatched it, I was like, ooh, that's very bright. But it's also quite a pretty color. I do like it. But do I like it enough? Yeah, I'm just going to put it in the nice category. Then we have Laurel. I was so happy to finally get a green in the calendar. Green is probably my favorite color. But it is so sheeny. There is a ton of sheen. And personally, it really reminds me of Black Ivy, which I think was included in the Red Inkvent from a couple years ago. And I mean, it's an okay ink. The base color is nice. I don't care for the sheen, but it's definitely usable. But I was a little disappointed that I think there were like a couple of greens in there, but I had higher hopes for this one. Then we have Ruby Taffeta. I have no idea how to pronounce it, and I don't know what it means. Could have looked it up beforehand, but you know, is it a chameleon shimmer or just a regular shimmer? I think this may be a chameleon as well. I'm always pretty bad at seeing both colors of the chameleon. Yeah, oh no, this is definitely chameleon shimmer, because if I turn it this way, I see like a reddish, pinkish shimmer, and this way it's like green. I like it. From all of the shimmers all of the red shimmer inks that Diamine has released so far with the Inkvents, this is not a favorite though. We have had Tinsel 2 years ago, which I loved. We've had Winterberry, which I also loved. And if I had to rank this one with those two, this one would come in third. So it's usable, absolutely, but definitely not a favorite. Then we have Chaos. Chaos is another sheening ink with a warmer base color compared to Energy. Energy is a very cool purple. Chaos is a very warm purple. Energy was, I believe, just a sheening ink, whereas Chaos is an extreme sheen. If you hear beeps in the background, that's not a fire alarm. That's just a dishwasher that's ready. I really don't like Chaos, to be honest. Luckily, my partner does like it, so he can probably just have this bottle. But I don't love the base color. I really dislike the sheen, the strong sheen, so definitely not a favorite for me. Then we have Celestial Skies. This was the very first day, and I think it was a very strong start. I've heard people comment that this one reminds them a lot of Emeraude de Chivor from Gerba, which is a very popular ink. So some people were like, they're kind of stealing that inspiration, but personally I think it's just a really successful and powerful combination of colors. A bright teal base color, a bright gold shimmer, a bright red sheen. It's just a combination that works. So I feel like it's a good move for Diamine to make one of those combinations for themselves. Yeah, I think this is going to go in the love it category. Then we have Gala, and it's a standard ink, which makes it very usable. I don't really care for the color. Also could have been worse. I don't know, it kind of depends. I don't like it in winter, I think, but I think I would like it in summer. It kind of reminds me of hydrangeas. So, I don't know, it's going to go in usable. Then we have Merry Rose, and Merry Rose, especially when the ink is wet, is kind of like a wound fluid ink to me. And even when it dries, I don't particularly care for the color. It's neither orange, nor pink, nor coral, nor brown. It's somewhere in between, but kind of on the more gross side. I'm sorry if this is your favorite. I feel like this is a color that quite a few people would like. For me, it's definitely one of the least exciting colors from the calendar. So far, we're not doing too great, I feel like. We've got 2 Love It's, 3 Nice and or Unique, 5 Usable, and 3 Meh colors. Then we've got Frostbite, and I think Frostbite is really cool. It's a dark blue, very moody, with a very cool shimmer. The shimmer is kind of dark. It's like almost brown. I'm not sure if I would consider this a Frostbite color. I feel like with Frostbite I was expecting something a little more icy, but I think this is a really nice ink. I'm just gonna... It's not a Love It because the base color is more of a purple leaning blue, which tend to be colors that I don't use that much. So it's gonna go in... It's unique and I like it, but it's not a favorite. Then we've got Let It Snow. And Let It Snow is another chameleon shimmer, I think. Is it a chameleon? Maybe. Or maybe it's just a shimmer. Not sure. I mean, it looks kind of silver or blue. I mean, this one could have also been called Frostbite, to be honest. It's definitely a winter ink. It's cool. I like it. The base color is a little light, a little too blue for my liking. It's okay. Is it super unique? I think Diamine has done quite a few of these, like kind of similar. It also reminds me a bit of Sub-Zero, Bliss, Peppermint. Those are all kind of in that similar vein. Then we have Pineapple Spritz, and just like Antler, I love this color. I love the color, I love the shimmer. This one has a chameleon shimmer, which is kind of a warm golden shimmer and kind of a green shimmer. I think the green doesn't look too great, but you only see that under like certain angles. I see it as a warm gold most of the time, and I think that's beautiful. I love this ink. This would have been a favorite if it weren't a pigment ink. So it's gonna go with nice. Then we have Fur and Fog, a unsaturated kind of grayish green with a green and pink chameleon shimmer. This was always going to be a favorite, let's be honest. This is definitely a me color, and it has a pretty shimmer. It's just, I love it. Then we have Nostalgia, and Nostalgia is nice. It's a grayish purple with a gold and pink shimmer. It's a chameleon. It's really beautiful. The only thing that's keeping me from putting it in the love it category, I think, I still may do it, I'm not sure. My reasoning is that there have been quite a few inks that are a little similar. One that comes to mind is Deck the Halls from a few years back. And I think I like those a little more, which was also the reason that I put Ruby Taffeta a bit lower, because there's just been similar ones that I liked better. But I think from the entire calendar, it's definitely one of my favorites. So, okay, let's just put it with Love It. Let's not be too strict. Then we have Smoky Tobacco, and it's okay. I like the base color. It's a scented ink, and the scent is fine. It's not offensive like Sweet Dreams. That kind of still gives me nightmares, ironic enough. But I don't know, I love scented inks. And some of my favorite scented inks come from the Diamine Inkvent calendar. I have a full bottle of Diamine Spruce from the Green Inkvent, I think, which was a very wet green ink that kind of smells like spruce trees. I really like that one, and I'm always excited about the scented inks. But unfortunately, this year there was just one, and it was just okay in my opinion. It's a usable color. It behaves reasonably well. The scent is neither fantastic nor offensive. But I was just hoping for a really good one. Like, I just really want a peppermint scented ink. I think that would be fantastic. Just like very Christmassy. And this one was just like, all right. So it's gonna go with usable. Okay, so space-wise, I don't have a lot of room left, so I'm just gonna shuffle a few things around. Okay, we have room for a bit more cards. The next one is Carousel. Carousel is a red ink, a bit on the cooler side, some pinkish undertones, and it's a pigment ink. And I just really don't care about this one. The color is nice, but there's a ton of colors like this that are not pigmented that I would much rather use than this one. So for me, it's a meh ink. Then we have Bittersweet, and if they had given this a peppermint scent, it would have been a fantastic ink. But right now it's like just a standard ink. The color is alright, but not fantastic. So it's gonna go with usable. Then we have Blush, And when I first swatched blush, I was like, ooh, that's a bit too, I don't know, pink for me. But it's really grown on me. So I don't think it's a favorite yet. But it's definitely up there with the nice inks. And then we've got another pigment ink called Brrr, which, I think they were kind of running out of name inspiration here. Although it sounds fun. It's a shimmer ink. And a shimmer pigment, I think this was the first ink in the calendar that added another characteristic to pigment inks. So in that aspect, it's cool. I like it. It's a really pretty base color. The shimmer is all right. I definitely think it's usable, and it would have been nice. I would have put it here if it was not a pigment ink. Ooh, we're still running out of space. There are too many inks in the same category. Okay, let's make this work. Just a few more to go. Just two actually. Then we've got Dreamcatcher. Dreamcatcher is, I can basically not even see the base color anymore. That is how much sheen there is. I believe it's a very dark blue, but it's almost impossible to see. This is one of the extreme sheeners. I love the name, but I really don't love the ink. So that's a meh ink for me. And then we've got Molten Basalt. And this one is, I'm a little on the fence about this one. I think the base color is beautiful. It's moody. It's like gray, but also blue, but also kind of greenish, brownish. It's like a very muddy, moody color. It has quite a strong sheen that is not too bright. It's almost a brown sheen. Unfortunately, in writing, you see nothing of this. If you write like with a fine nib, it's basically just like using a black ink, but I still like it. Like, I'm a little biased because this was my birthday ink. Like, this was the 13th of December. And I don't know why that biases me, but I don't know. I like it. I'm just going to put it with nice. It's not a favorite. It could have been if any of those cool colors showed up in writing. Overall, I think this is not a fantastic distribution. There are definitely some inks in there that I'm really glad that I have now. But there's also quite a few inks that I don't like. And especially too many inks that are just okay, that are usable. But I would have loved for more of those usable inks to be colors that I really enjoy. I feel like this calendar has a lot of cooler colors compared to some other years. I would have loved a warm orange or a warm green. Instead, there's a lot of blue, purple, pink. Not a huge fan of those colors. There's obviously people out there who are. For me, I think I liked the Colorverse calendar better this year. I didn't get it last year. But I did look at these swatches and I also really liked it last year. But this year, the Diamine calendar wasn't as exciting for me. There are some really cool and unique inks, but not necessarily ones that I would personally like to use. So I'm kind of thinking like maybe next year I would consider not getting the entire calendar, just waiting for, videos of swatches to be released, and then taking note of all of the inks that I would be excited to try. Then get samples of those when they are released as full bottles half a year later. And then of the maybe one or two inks that I've tried as a sample and I really would like to add to my collection, I can get a full bottle of those. And that way, in total, I would spend less money than the entire calendar, but I would have ended up with having tried all of the inks that I would like to try and having a full bottle of the 1 or 2 inks that I absolutely love, instead of having like 12 milliliters of inks that I either love or are just okay or I really don't like. And obviously I can trade them, I can give them away. That's definitely not a problem. But yeah, it's a lot of money for inks that you may not use. I did really like swatching all of these. I did like the surprise of opening up the door and swatching a new color. That's just something that makes me really happy. I like doing that. So I'm not promising that I'm not getting it next year, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's just do a final tally. In the meh category, we had 3 inks that I really didn't like in the Colorverse calendar, and for Diamine, those are 5, which are Mittens, Chaos, Merry Rose, Carousel, and Dreamcatcher. In the usable category, we had 4 from Colorverse, and from Diamine we have 1, More the Merrier, 2, Energy, 3, Laurel, 4, Ruby Taffeta, 5, Gala, 6, Let It Snow, 7, Smoky Tobacco, 8, Bittersweet, and 9, Brr. In the category nice and or unique, we have 11 from Colorverse, and from Diamine we have 1, Antler, 2, Overcast, 3, Ambience, 4, Frostbite, 5, Pineapple Spritz, 6, Blush, and 7, Molten Basalt. And in the Love It category, we had 6 from Colorverse, and from Diamine we have 1, Bubbly, 2, Celestial Skies, 4, Fur and Fog, 3, Fur and Fog, and 4, Nostalgia. I promise I can count to 4. So you can definitely see that for the 2 top categories, Colorverse had in total 17 inks that I either liked or loved, and Diamine just had 11. And for the colors that were okay or I didn't like, Colorverse had 7, whereas Diamine had 14. So statistically, I definitely enjoyed the Colorverse calendar more. It's also a lot more expensive, so there's that. I may not get either of them next year. I don't know. We'll have to think about that. Maybe they're not even releasing a new one next year. Who knows? In any case, there's still a lot of time to think about that. So yeah, I would love to hear if I've shamed some of your favorites, or if I love some inks that you didn't like, or do we have similar rankings? I really liked hearing those things on the Colorverse calendar. So yeah, share your opinions. We'd love to hear them. And for now, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care. Bye!